and also the all right, I'm back again. Um,
Yes.
all
Apologies.
right,
I just realized we're not live, so we can start. Let's start this all over again.
all
Sorry.
right. Okay, to
Okay.
save time and effort and everything else.
Okay.
Anyway, my name is Logan Raju. I'm the chairperson of this Time with Wise Men and also chair of the Immigrants, the organization I'm involved in. And today we have my fellow colleague and founder member, Joe Reed, and also a senior member of the Immigrants, friend Bruno here. And he's Spanish, and Joe is Irish, who's also dealing with with the Filipino communities. And we have Paul, our engineer here. So he was going to engineer the whole process for today. But because we had some issues with the recording, I'm going to go straight ahead. And I'm going to welcome all of you. And thank you, Susan, for organizing this. Susan is our CEO. And it's good to have one woman who's going to be talking to us about fatherhood today. Nevertheless, fatherhood is a very, very important topic. And my fatherhood lesson is from my own dad and friends and uncles or anybody else. I'm from Malaysia, of South Indian origin. I'm going to talk about this later when my turn comes more because of the time communications that we've had some delays. Nevertheless, I like to start with Paul today, who's also a member of this forum, and to kickstart what he has to say about father and fatherhood. Go ahead, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe the concept of fatherhood has gone through a lot of transformation in the last few decades. And the modern theorist of what a family is has also changed. Now it focuses on it has left the traditional setting of a father, mother, and the child or the children. That's the traditional setup. Now to include things like caregiving, emotional support, and the likes. And why is this topic very apt at this time, especially in view of what fatherhood all entails? I want to start with the socioeconomic context of who is a father. And this is very important because apart from the traditional role of the father, there are what we call the paternal roles. There are a lot of things that is not helping the male species to meet up. We have employment instability in view of the economic realities today, wage stagnation, rising living costs, that we can just keep counting them on. So it has really delayed us, affected the way men should provide for their family in the traditional way. We also have other factors like the work-family balance, especially after the COVID-19 in the year 2000s. The work system changed. So traditionally, many men do the 9 to 5 work, they get home and they have the rest of the day with their family. But now, the workspace has also changed. Many people work remotely now. So there is no clear-cut distinction between work and family. So that flexibility in work arrangements has really affected the males, affected us on who is a father and who is a responsible father. And also, it's also from my looking around, the perspective, and as we discussed informally before we started this show, the role of women in contemporary society today. More women are having bigger roles, prominent roles in the society post 1970 down upwards or downwards, 70s, 80s, 90s. Women are starting picking up big roles or important roles in the society as CEOs, as chief financial officers. And what about the men? Many are not really attaining very high academic standard, because women tend, if you go to any university today, we see more women in the classrooms than, or in the research center, in the research sector, than men. Men now tends to stay in more engineering and some other sectors, heavy sectors, construction, engineering, and women's are more of administrators. And there is also a factor that shows that women studies, they attain high educational level post 1970. And it has given women a lot of privilege in the society to become whatever they want to be. So how are all these, or how can we today finding the situation we find ourselves, how can we cope with this? We also have the cultural variations, because the society we live in today is becoming multicultural. We can't run away from that. The cultural role of a father, it's cutting across because of immigration and migration and emigration. There is a kind of non-shift now. So there is a gradual shift from authoritarian parenting to a more nurturing approach. The alpha man we used to know many years ago are now becoming beta men. The alpha spirit is no longer there. Also, there is and this transformation aligns with broader democratic values. We have nothing to do about it. So we are producing also children that are soft, that are not as alpha. And also the media representation of what a father is one of those things that I believe is affecting parenthood or fatherhood today. The perception of the media, the contemporary media portrays men as either incompetent or they're absent, a kind of stereotype, or probably giving them a super dad, creating a super dad model, which is different from the traditional role most of our parents had. And also the diversification of the marriage, the family structure too. Now we tend to have more single fathers, co-parenting arrangements, same-sex parenting models, and a lot of things that are happening in that space. But how can we cope with all this? So I think this is one of the things that's really concerned, that I've thought over in the past few days. What policies or institutional frameworks exist that can help us as men to be a good father. I've highlighted some of the challenges, and the challenges it speaks for itself, but how can we navigate past this challenge and become a more productive parent or father? I want to believe that in the Republic of Ireland, there are also parenting programs and community initiative plays that fathers community initiatives that father can put in, especially fathers who are vulnerable, either to provide skill resources or social support to help fathers. And there are also different platforms, digital platforms that can really, educational skills that can really help fathers. But I want to just talk for the first 3-5 minutes, and I will have more to say about this. But these are some of the topical issues that I've highlighted the issues. I've not been able to, well, possibly later I will be able to talk about practical solutions that I, in my own little way, perceive can make us create and more responsible fathers in the society amidst these contemporary challenges of world we find ourselves. So I hand this over to Mr. Logan.
Logan is gone, so I'm going to just bring in Joseph. Joseph, do you want to come in?
Yes, it's interesting what Paul has been saying, and in some ways I would agree. There has been a lot of changes, especially over the last maybe 20 years, from a parenting point of view. I mean, we've seen a lot of changes, both media
Put me.
and also from films, and in everyday life.
Hello. It
Um,
seems I'm silent here. I can't hear anything.
Victor, is that Victor? Susan, there's something because Victor
Yeah,
left a
no,
message as well in the chat box.
no, I've seen his message. He was just leaving the room. But I'll check. Anyway, Joseph, go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah, no, as I was saying, we've seen a lot of changes, especially from the media point of view, on how they perceive fathers. And Paul is right in what way some, not all, but some of the society today, from boys, have got soft, are sort of not the alpha males that they would have been in our day back in the 60s and 70s. I've seen a lot of changes, and it's only in certain countries, because you can look across the world in a lot of spectrum, a lot of countries, and you can see different nations have different ways of dealing with parenting, especially in the skills. But I do notice here in Ireland we've got a little bit softer, because when we grew up, especially when I grew up, it wasn't, your father was very tough on the kids. Now, not to say the mother wasn't as well. The mother had an equal point of knowing how to use the handle of a brush, or a sweeping brush, or a spoon. But the father, if you did something wrong, you knew that you're going to be seriously in trouble with your father. Nowadays, you're not allowed to say anything to your kids, because if you say something, you've got someone next door neighbor saying you can't say that to your child, or you can't, and they're interfering. I mean, I have my kids, and I know I'm just speaking for myself, but I have a very good relationship with my children, because we talk all the time. I allow them to tell me. They tell me about their little problems. They tell me their secrets. They don't hide anything from me. I have an open door policy. They can come into me and talk to me about anything, and I'm always happy about that, because it's a good, strong bonding relationship, and I love that, the fact that they can come in and talk to me. When some of their friends come over, the first thing they say to me, or say to my son, is, "How come your dad is really nice to us, and my dad has really been a complete and utter, pain in the neck, that he won't even engage. He'll just see the child as, oh, get out of the house, don't want to see your face." And that's not the way to deal. Not as a parent, that is not the way to deal with a child. If you have a good bond with your child, and you educate them and you teach them to respect, and the word respect has completely gone out the window in some cases.
I want to talk.
I do see children, young teenagers, 12 to about 16,
I've just noticed.
being completely rude and obnoxious to people. You go into shops, they see people behind the counter, and they don't happen to be the same nationality. And I'm speaking from the migrant point of view. These kids, and especially some of our Irish kids, some of them can be generally racist. And I blame the parenting not being involved with their children, and not speaking to their children, caring enough to know where their child is and how we deal with the children. So that's important, that we have to know where our child is. We have to also respect the children, but get them to respect us as well. It's not a, oh, because I'm the dad, you have to respect. It's on the same level, but make sure that they understand where they're coming from and educate them. You can't leave it for the school. You can't leave it for the priest. It has to be coming from the home, and the parents are the most important thing in the family. And even whether it be a single family as well, it's a very important that that family, that father or that mother, has a hold of their children and to be able to explain to them and teach them about respect and teach them how to care and teach them how to be respectful to their elders. Now, I know, okay, some people out there can be a little bit rude and whatever, but try and be respectful to yourself and try and be respectful to your parents, and then we can have a little bit of a better world.
Yeah, thank you very much there.
Thanks. All
Yeah,
right,
can
Susan.
you have Bruno say something then? Then we come to Victor after Bruno. Bruno, the floor is open.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you for the comments that have already been made on this topic. It's a huge topic. It's a topic very dear to me because I'm a father of 3 children. So I'm not the only father, but I'm a father of 3 children. So it touches me very deeply, as much as it touches any parents or any father that is that has children. To go back, one of the points that also Joseph made is that parenthood and fatherhood has been shifted from the real person to media, to the telephone, to the tablet, to the PC. And I don't have percentages, but I think there's an incredibly disproportionate amount of time the children spend instead of with the parents, with social media, with PCs, with tablets, with telephone, and everything else. They become the parents. They become the father, the mother. The so-called influencer become the role model for these children. And that has a devastating consequences on them. And I think this is really something we should be thinking about. So there's not, it's a very complex situation, which I think we are facing now, which is on one side, what, sorry, I don't want to miss, Paul? Yeah, Paul, sorry, I couldn't remember that. And Joseph and also Logan already mentioned is that, so the first is the definition of a family. What is a family? At this stage, it seems like family is whatever everybody likes to make to be. I totally disagree with that point personally, and also I think it doesn't make sense in any society, because obviously having no idea what the family is, it creates all the problems that we see now. So that's the first thing. So what is a family? What is husband? What is a father? What is a mother? What is a husband and wife? I think that's the most fundamental question that we should be framed and have the model there, because without that, we can create chaos, and that's what we've been doing until now. And second is, who are the parents of our children? Is it us? 10% of the time, 20% of the time, 50% of the time, or is the media, the tablet, the telephone, or whatever else that is the 80% of the parents to our kids? So I think there's a lot of challenges that need to be overcome, and there's a lot of things that need to be done to go back to what is really the essence of a family, which is a family is a unit of love. It's a family, is the basic unit of society. If a family doesn't work well, society doesn't work. So it's very important that we have this very, very clear, and then from that we can build on, I think. And also, sorry, one more point. So, in that sense, even the figure of father, while it was important for women to be liberated, whatever that means, because it has a lot of different meaning, different culture, and different contexts, in different anthropological settings, whatever else, whatever that means, it definitely needed, like women had no right to vote, so that obviously was not the right things to have. So there are a lot of things that women needed to have, and men and women never been. They're not on an unequal play. They're all the same. They're same value. That's the point. The bottom line is they have the same value. But the other problem is that conquest has also shifted the role of man into a secondary, in many ways, in a secondary place. So man is what I think Paul was mentioning about it, the alpha male, and also Joseph, I think, touched on that. So man is becoming like the little useless thing that, okay, bring money back for the family, and that's it. But it I think it has destroyed, or it is destroying, the real value of man within a family, which would be, there are many points that we can talk about, like it's a responsibilities, patience, understanding, it's guidance and discipline. Yes, discipline, and it has to be the good role model. It has to be a support, encouragement, love, and care to the kids and to the family, also to the wife. So these things are being eroded day by day by this new models of families and new models or new ideas, because everybody think, oh, the family for me is this, the family for me is that, whatever. No, we can't. We have to be clear what the family is, and that the family is the basic structure of a good functional society. And if we divert from that, then we are where we are now with all these problems. Sorry, maybe I talked too long. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno. I think that was very, very well founded. Is one man's food is another man's poison. So before my turn to talk, is Victor still around there, Susan? So he can say a few things before I come in.
Before you come in, I think Brother Victor is with us, and he can unmute himself and talk.
Can you let him know in the chat box, please?
Yeah, I'm telling him. I think he can hear us. I think he's gone again. Okay, he's back. Hold on, just hold on there. Yeah, he's back now. Yeah, good. So it's your turn now, Brother Victor, to talk, to speak on the topic, to which is father and fatherhood.
Father and fatherhood. Okay.
Yeah.
How many minutes do I have?
Or when you are introducing yourself, you can speak for like two minutes, and then or
Okay.
3 minutes.
Take as long as you need, Victor.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The 2 minutes is about introducing yourself, but it's not, we don't have that rule as such to follow.
Yes.
Introduce
Okay.
yourself and say what
And
you
then
have, hold on, please, Susan. Say what you have to do, say about the topic, until you stop, okay? Because we'll adjust with the time as it goes, because we do not
Okay.
want to spoil the train of thought. Thanks.
That is
no
right,
problem.
my dear brother. God bless you, and then happy Sunday to everybody.
Thank you.
Is actually my name is Dr. Victor Adetubo Dekomaya, and I'm a Nigerian. I'm a father. Yes, I have a boy and a girl, and a wife. Because there are some father who have children, but the wife is gone. So
Yeah.
we are complete here. Thank
Mhm.
God. And I live in Ireland. Was 27 years ago. So I so appreciate what CEO Susanna is doing. I mean, we've been together now over 20 something years, 26 years. Yes, making sure that we put things right to people, whether family, children. Susanna has been good. And thank God for our chairman, Ra. for what he is doing with Susanna and everyone that are there. So I'm a pastor too, and today, actually, what the topic we did was about relationship in marriage. You can see how coincident it is with what we are talking now. Fatherhood is father and family, I can call it. I've had the definition of what a father is, and what can we say a father is? Father, like, is being created right from time as somebody who's supposed to stand as the head of a home or a house or family. Just like Abraham, I believe, whether you're a Christian or no Christian, you must have heard who Father Abraham is. Father Abraham, as God said, the God I seek, and he said he will be the father of the whole nation. That means to say, you and me and you, we are some kind of we originated from Father Abraham. Palestine is Syrian, Jerusalem, Jew, we are all part of it. I'm just diverting a little. So, father is somebody who is a representative. And who is that father representing? Is representing God. God is the overall father of the whole universe, whether we like it or not. God is our father. And he now made Adam to be a father. So Adam now say, I can't be a father without Eve. That's why now God say, okay, I will bring Eve out of you, so that you will not just be alone, so that you can multiply and get more children. And that is where fatherhood starts from. So fatherhood starts from Adam and motherhood from Eve. So, and what was Adam actually doing? He was tilling the ground. He was a planter, farmer. That is it. Father must be able to be the heir to provide. Father must be able to nurture. Father must be able to be able to teach. Father must be able to bring security to the family. Father must be able to discipline the family. Father must be able to respect the family too. Integrity matter, humility matter. Father must be the greatest teacher any children must have before they go out to school. And father must be a mentor to their children. Fatherhood is not just a symbolic one. It's a privilege to have a fatherhood figure in anywhere in the house or in the family. And what makes father is not only progeniting or having children, making love to your wife and get children. No, that is not just the only thing. There are a lot of fathers. And there is father and there is father. There's a lot of father who cannot multiply or bring children. And there are a lot of fathers who are fathers to other children, who adopted children, or who are taking care of other people's children. They are fathers. So that is how fathers multiply. And without father, there cannot be increase in this world. As we know biologically, father have XY, while the mother have Y. If the XY does not go to the mother, there will be no children, as biology stated. So that is one of the reasons. And that is why father is very important in any area of life. But to gratify father, the gratitude to be given to father is that father must not be a useless father. He must not be a hopeless father. He must not be a father that destroys his home or destroys his children. He must not be a father who talk one thing and does another thing. He must be a good replica of what God wants us to be, to love, to be charismatic, yes, to have faith, to believe that things can be happen and done, to know that there is bad and good. If the bad comes, to know how he can take care of the bad. There's a bad time, there's good time. And when there is good, to enjoy with the good. And to let the children who is training, who is with him, to know that this world, there is struggle in this world. This world is not that easy. And so for you to get out of the house where I'm taking care of you, I'm teaching you so that when you go out there, you'll be strong to meet a lot of adversaries, disadvantages, to meet terrors. There are lion, tiger there. And when you're doing that, you don't just train your male child, you train your female child too. As a father, you train your female child that what are the aspects of things to know about male outside there, in the school or at work or in the community. You train your male child to how to respect the girls, the female outside there. By the time you are training them, then you are making them a functionary factors for marriage and for them to bring another family. And this is why we are having some kind of malfunctioning family in the world because of what? Home. Home is not really grounded. Home, the thing is, we have responsibility to carry out from home before we get to the school, to the community, to the work, to the government, to become a president, to become a minister, to the teacher. It starts from the father of the home. All respect to the father, but one thing there is that we must be a father indeed. You must be a father who is responsible. You must be a father who have humility. You must be a father who have integrity. You must be a father who loves, who have faith in whatever you believe. You must be a father who is strong to know that hard work pays. You must be a hard work. No lazy children must be there. I think I will just leave it like this so that other person can talk. Thank you so much for listening. God bless
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much. And
Thank you
before
very
we
much, Doctor.
thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for that.
Thank
I
you,
just
sir.
want
Thank
to
you.
point out something you said there.
Mm.
Today we are talking about father and fatherhood. And there's
Mm.
something you mentioned there, just to clarify, that being a father doesn't necessarily have to be that you father a child. You might not father a child, but you could father children by bringing up children, by being a father, a father figure for so many people around you in your life, apart from adoption, but being a father to so many people. And that is why, if you look at the chat box there, and I put it in the private chat there, there's 5 questions which I want each of you to just take one of it and then talk about it. So the first question talks about what are the most important quality of a good father. So even if you didn't father a child through um, intimate relationship between a man and a woman, you're still a father, even if you never had one yourself. But if you have those qualities and you have a child that you father, that's so I really appreciate that we brought up that topic, because so that it can cut across to so many people that might be have the opportunity to watch us. Thank you. So up to you, Logan.
Thank you
I
very
think,
much indeed.
yeah, there's somebody there, Sister Rose. Mary, do you want to make any contribution before Logan goes on? You will have to unmute to do that. Just let us know if you want to make a contribution. Okay.
No, thanks.
Okay, I think she said no. Okay, go ahead, Logan.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, all, for your contributions. A lot has been said. We've already had our Sunday sermon from the pastor. Thank you very much indeed. I can switch off the television now. But coming to when we are talking about fatherhood, Motherhood, of course, plays a big role as well. It takes two to tangos, as we say. But there's one thing I feel that, well, it's been sort of missed out. But before that, respect, no matter what and where or when or how, has to be earned. So whether you're the father or the mother or family elder or the oldest in the family, respect has to be earned. But before that, there's one thing that we failed to, well, many people fail to understand. We are so used to with social media, we have that so many emojis, and then the red heart. That's love. But that can be misconstrued as well about love. Because a father, Father God in heaven, father who's a father, father who's a priest, and the list goes on. Who do we have many priests today, especially in the Catholic Church, who do not know real what really goes on in a family because they are not married. So that's another aspect, but yet they have the power to control and say things. So this is another serious topic that we have to talk to the Pope about this. But coming back to love, that is something that we many of us miss out on a daily basis. That love has to be shared. To share, to care, to be a senior, to be a model role, we have to have share the love. So that is what's missing. I feel my own way is missing a lot in families. I'm single, so I was never a father to anybody, but I've been a mentor or an inspirational speaker or whatever, so many titles in this life. But the main thing is the father is a model role. Apart from it all started with man being the hunter. So just like the pastor said, Adam is a farmer. So who the breadwinner is the man. It's been traditional, it's been cultural. In social world, economically, the man is the hunter, the father provides for the family. But there's a tilt in the balance, like a seesaw, whereby things have changed over the past 20, 30, 40 years, with women being entering into the employer role as a breadwinner. But there's been too many conflicts as well because we've forgotten the roles that parents have to play. When the mother goes out to work as well, how do they deal with the family situation? Do we just buy presents for the children because of absence of love? Do we get private teachers or nannies to look after them? Yes, when we were young, I had a private teacher too, and I had a nanny too. But on the same token, some of us are closer to the nanny. And as you can see, back in the slave trade days era, where the nanny or the big main person, the cook, is always this African woman who everybody went to for support and as well. So that shows the role of the mother, and it's a teamwork that the mother plays a role, the father plays a role, and the elders in the family who are supposed to take on the father's shoes as a leader of as also the head of when the father leaves, who's the head of the family. So there's a lot of conflicts with this as well. And many fathers who are out there working today, most of them are fathers. Not all of them are single. So their roles as model roles, as in the family, they could be brutal in the home place, but they are also very easy to talk to at the place of work, or vice versa. So we have to educate ourselves, or we have to re-educate ourselves as our roles as a father, as a mentor, as a role model. Where do we stand in this? I've seen a lot of people broken marriages today in my life. I've seen so many people break up, and the people who suffer the most are the children, because they are sitting in no man's land. Who they turn to? So they turn to the wrong crowd. They get into drugs or alcohol or all the wrong things that is happening today. That's not just with the migrant population, it's with the local native population as well, because we all have to adapt and adopt. Many of us tend to adapt and adopt the wrong things. So we have to have that hierarchy no matter where. We have to have a leader, one on the top, just like the bees and the ants and the animal kingdom. There's always one there that's got to lead. You will watch the animal kingdom, we learn a hell of a lot about leadership as well. So, where do we stand in this world today? How do we cope? How are we going to handle things as they are today? With all that's going on in the wars, there was a time when all the men were out there to fight, and there were not enough men to, to reproduce. So this is where they could have more than one partner or one wife or whatever it is. So it's cultural as well. It's traditional, whereby we have to cope with the situation, and we have to, bring in new ideas, new roles, new things. So the world we live today is with this social media. It is so contagious. It's so infectious that things have changed in life. I've seen a lot of people day and night, they're fighting with each other, or not in front of the kids, not in front of the children. Just like Joe said earlier on, we open up to everything. And Bruno brought in about the balance actually, and our and Paul, who talked about how we do things together as an engineer. So the roles we take on in life, our jobs. I'm an accountant and I know quite a bit about the law. I've done so many dabbled in so many different things. I've learned to understand. Every day is a learning curve.
Mike is
So how much?
muted.
Sorry, sorry. Somebody say something.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So today the roles are changing very rapidly, and understandably that we are going the wrong direction, or we are on the right track, or what's happening in this world today. When we talk about father and fatherhood, yeah, both they gel together, and so the motherhood has to come in. How are we going to work as a team? I know one of my family members went through a divorce as well. And our family was one of those families who stood very upright in society, in the community. And things can go wrong with anybody or anybody at any time, any juncture. So we have to be able to cope with the situation. Whoever we are, whatever we are, if we do not share the love and we do not understand the love of communicating, so that's why some of us have the passion to do community work. I worked with Joe for many, many years, and Bruno is a new friend, and we have a fair idea what he does, and we would like him to come in more often to do things with us, and like Paul too, and the pastor. This is how we learn about each other and spread the good news or the good word or the love. When we in Christianity is hold on, please, Susan. In Christianity, there's always about love about Jesus. We have prayers before we start. I have many Muslim friends who are Buddhists. I'm from a multiracial country. So how do they deal with things? I've had friends who are dangerous, who are gangsters as well. So, but how they deal with the family, they said they are doing this for the family, and yet they are ruthless to other people. So this is where I feel that we have to learn to understand, especially I always talk about adopt and adapt and FCP. We have to focus on the task at hand. We have to be able to communicate, but most of all, we must be able to participate. On that note, I think we'll summarize everybody to give their views. And of course, this is a big topic, and we can always have this topic another day. But also, I think that we are here today. We are here to stay, and it's very, very important and crucial that we do participate in what we are doing. I mentioned earlier on that many of our members are not even here today, and they have not even communicated to say whether they are coming or not. Thank God, some of our colleagues, my colleagues, did let me know about it. So I think we also have to foster the friendship about what we are doing, because many of us in this world today are closer to our friends than to our family or our siblings. Why? Why has it changed suddenly? Is it social media? No, it's not necessarily social media, because we have a house, but we don't have a home to go to. So many of us opt out for friends because we are not happy at home. But does it mean that we are happy with our friends? Not necessarily. And I want to highlight something very, very important. I've been here over 40 years in Ireland, and as an immigrant or as a foreign person, seen and learned a lot and done a lot. One of the things is I used to spend a lot of time with the marginalized, the people who've been left out, people who built this country. They have always been left out or sidelined. Why do we have many problems in, as they say, the council houses areas? Why? Because they have been left out. What's happening today in the streets of Dublin and in Ireland? Why? Because the top people on the top, they look after themselves. The people in the bottom have to scrape or whatever they get the handouts. The people in the middle who are the wannabes, I want to be this, I want to be that. Now they are stuck. They cannot pay their mortgages. They cannot do this because they want to be progressive. They have forgotten the values of the home. So what Bruno said earlier on is very, very important here. What everybody has said about the home structure, because in everything in life, we have a structure, we have a system, and that's where we have failed. Thank you very much on that note.
Thank you so much. I just want us to go through those questions. So I know you are going to talk. Yeah, I'll start with you there, Paul. So when you come in, there's a question that I want everybody to just give me two points when you come in. So the first one is that what are the most important quality of a good father? So you can just give us a keyword like respect, or just give us keywords in that. So when you all come in, the second question is that how does fatherhood impact men personally and the responsibility? The third question, and all these questions is in the private chat, so you guys can just see there and pick any of those questions and just answer. The third one is, in what way can father positively influence their children development? And I think Joseph really mentioned on that when he was talking about character of a father, and how you welcome your child, how you make it an open door still, and you still discipline them. So he mentioned something like that there. So what are some challenges that we face as a father? Most everybody nearly mentioned that when we talk about challenges, but let us re-emphasize that as just one thing, that this is one challenge. Let us re-emphasize it. And the fifth question, because this allows us to really focus on the topic, how can society support and recognize the role of the father in the family life? How can society, because every single one of us have talked about it, that the society have shifted away from the definition of what family means, from what the role of a father means, and for who, they've shifted away from it. So how do we think we can go back to that? So the floor to you, Paul, again, because I can see you're raising up your hand there.
Okay, so maybe I'll start with the sixth question.
Okay.
And I think that's dwells more on the solution or the practicality of what can be done. I was able to take down a few notes while previous speakers were highlighting their various points. And some of the issues I see at hand, because it is quite evident that we have a movement towards egalitarian parenting in today's world. And these are shifted towards gender equality and redefining our traditional roles as fathers in the society. And some of the practical solutions that I just see, these are my personal opinions, it's not absolute, is what we are doing at the moment, using social media platform to contribute to the reconstruction of fatherhood identities. This is what I mean, allowing fathers, as we are doing now, to share experiences and access peer support. It really minimizes the super dad culture that we see on media. So it creates unrealistic, or it creates realistic standards. So the unrealistic standards we see in social media about a super dad or a bad dad we are trying to break the stereotype. So this is one way, using social media to reconstruct what fatherhood identities should be. And Also, for those who are working remotely, I think it will be good to create a good line now if between work and life expectations. Yes, many fathers work at home, but they are always at home. But oh no, I'm working. And even when they are not working, they are still with their digital devices. So it's creating. So once you're able to create a good line, not a blurred line, I think it improves what fatherhood should be about. And I also think craving for more public policies like paternity leave. It's in place. These are policies that government can also put in place that will help. Tax benefits. It will shape a lot of family dynamics for fathers. People want to be a responsible father. People want to have more families because of tax incentives. And I think every progressive society should be thinking in this line. And it we also want to create paternal involvement in whatever we are doing and creating more babies. We'll have more soldiers in the future to defend our territory, more engineers, doctors, and responsible politicians. And also, one thing I think may help is advocacy of the legal recognition of the rights of fathers post-separation. Yes, if the government can really look into this, it will create an equitable, creating an equitable legal framework. It's going to sustain paternal engagement of family instead of, oh, there is a divorce, no, everything goes to the mother. So we'll create more responsible parents. And I think also parenting programs and community initiatives will play a good role too, especially for those who are vulnerable. As one of the speakers, Logan, said, that's why is it that where we have social housing, there tends to be broken families and whatsoever there. So I want to believe putting it into the laws, a kind of legal recognition of the right of fathers will help creating programs too for parents at community-based level. Because the parents, fathers and husbands are passing through a lot today, no doubt. There is a lot of forces that is really bringing life out of men, and that's why men tend to have a shorter lifespan.
Yes.
Men tend to have a shorter lifespan today because of the expectation. The economic realities are there, and it creates mental health, imbalance, mental health, mental challenges, stress, depression, and
There are many,
another
many
factor
issues there.
yes, and the societal expectation too, and the lack of support by government. The support is not adequate, and they want everything from the man. And also, a factor I think that is also responsible for the issues we are having in most progressive society is substance abuse and incarceration.
Yeah.
It's something that should be looked into. Yes, because all this disrupts the family structure. No doubt about it. And it limits parental involvement in child care. And it has a lot of long-term implication, not just on the child, also on the community and on the country. Because if there is a war now, how many soldiers? We have a lot of men, but how many people are nationalistic who are ready to go to war for their country today? So we are producing softs, and virtually we are producing softs or beta males, not alpha males again. And the alphas, most of them are also in prison because of smart, he's a man.
Well,
Just
that's the
just send
way
you to prison.
society has gone. Paul, sorry, you actually covered most of the other questions as well. I
Okay,
think
okay,
because
so
of the
maybe
time.
I quit
No,
at
no, no,
that.
no. It's okay. You're fine. You're fine. That's why sometimes we need more time in this. I think I'll call on Joe to say a few words. What Joe feels one of the questions there, please, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, and one of the things was I was saying having a good communication with your children is very important.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
you also have to be very responsible and supportive to your kids' needs. Um, Sometimes we forget, and I do see this quite a lot. When you're in a busy life, or you're a working mom or you're a working father, you come home, you're tired, and sometimes the child will come up and ask loads of questions, and depending on the child, some child might be very quiet in the room, some might be always constantly da, and you sort of go, oh, just go away. But sometimes you should sort of say, yes, be responsible, have that open door policy where you can be able to share information, because if you share information with your children and they share information to you, they will be a lot better and a lot better understanding. So they'll respect you more, and they'll sort of be able to sort of think, oh, if I have something wrong, I can go straight to my mum or dad. But I do see, and it is sad in ways, and I've seen it on right across the board in a lot of different areas, not just in Ireland. I've seen it in different cultures, and I've watched it, and I see how sometimes parenting can be like. Sometimes we can be very dismissive because, as I said, we can be very we're tired. You come home from a long day at work and you start going, "Oh, look, just leave me alone. Talk to your mum." And that child might only want that couple of seconds just to be noticed and go, "Hi, Dad, I'm here." So why not say hello back to them? Why not say, "Yes, tell me about your day." Even though you've had a rough day, let that child speak. Let them tell you how they feel. Because as you said, Logan, earlier on, and I know Paul and the pastor explained as well, there's nothing better, nothing greater than a love of a child. And if you see that love of the child and the child coming to you and knowing that the father or the mother, but especially the father, is open to them, speaking out and to be able to say, Dad, I had a rough day in school. I was very, and then instead of dismissing, go, no, I don't want to hear. If you let them talk, you'll get more information out of them. And it's quite interesting. As I said, I have that very much thing with my own children, that they can come and tell me if there's a problem, or, whether if they have a boyfriend or girlfriend, and if there's a relationship or that there's a problem with them, they'll come to me. They will ask my advice. Now, not all the times I give good advice, but at least I can listen to them and try and help them and try and support them. Um, and that's how we help our children. And I think it's very, very important. And as the pastor said, family, we have lost the distinction of family over the years because media, social media, even the government there, I think was last year or maybe it was the year before, that they wanted to wipe the word mother out of the situation. And I was like, going, what is your problem? This is completely wrong. Now, I am very proud that I am adopted. I had two of the most beautiful parents that loved and cared and respected me, gave me a home, gave me a good education. They were my parents. And eventually, after 40 odd years, I met my biological mother who was still alive, and she's living in another country. But I had to reconnect to her. I had a sort of a somewhat love to her, but it wasn't the same as my adopted parents, because they gave me a home, they gave me an education, they gave me the love. Now, my father was tough on me, but I learned, and I try and bestow that information to my children. Um, I wouldn't go the necessary down the route that my father would, because he occasionally gave me the odd maybe slap. Like, I think maybe most of us in our age group probably had that type of parent, because that
Yes.
was a different world. Nowadays we're a little bit more, we're sort of careful how we say things, and I think we have to have empathy as well. But if we can share with the children and like this, talking to other parents and getting their feedback as well, it helps us to be better parents as well, because we're learning other skills. And I think that's the most important, is communication.
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. Sorry, Logan. Before you go, just because of what you said last, learning from other parents is so important. And this is a grant now. You men are learning from each other and learning how to become better men, become wise men. Please, before you go, just give us what is a take home, because we normally ask everybody to give a take home, so that people that watch can say, okay, that is the take home. And give us a take home, one take home for everybody.
Hold on, please, Susan. I don't mean to be rude. You had all those questions out there. I think it's only fair that Bruno and also the pastor, Victor, that they have their say as well. And at the same time, they can talk about what they are taking back, with them. So we can combine both, so that we have to be fair about it as well. So
Yeah,
if I
no, I
may
just
ask,
want him to give us one take home because of the time. That's
yes,
all. So that we
that's
can come back
Susan.
to
That's
him.
what I'm trying to say. That
Okay.
everybody's got to have a fair turn. Okay, so they
Right.
can sum up with what we talked about. That everybody give their views, and also at the same time join and say what you can take home from this. Bruno, thank you, sir.
So who's
Uh,
coming?
thank, thank you, everyone. Yes, it's a huge topic.
Yes,
Yeah.
But if I can say one thing, there's so many good points that everybody mentioned, and about the quality. I think we need to go back to the origin. The pastor started talking about God, and I think that's where the origin is. I know that there be a lot of atheists out there that might have different views, but there is an origin, whether you believe is God or not. And the origin is it's love. That's what it is.
yes,
And that is the only things that can change people, things that the only thing that can change ourselves and the people around us in a good way. So I think God God is the parents. God is the model. And if I want to give an adjective, is I would call it the initiator. God is the initiator of love. And so we have to be the initiator of love. As parents, as fathers, we need to be the initiator. We can't wait for somebody else to come up and tell us, oh, no. We are the people that can initiate love to our family, to our wife, to our children. We have to have the presence and involvement in their life. We have to be responsible. We need to have the patience and understanding and the guidance and discipline. And this is what makes the role model for us. I think one point to take away from me is to be the initiator. And we can be an initiator as individuals or models, as a father and in a family, but also in the people at large, in the people that we work. We can consider them as our children, if you want to, and take the same approach. And of course, it's not our own children, but we can take the same approach with the people there. We can take the same approach in all area where we live or whatever we deal with. That is the same approach that we can have. So initiator for me is the takeaway from here. And another thing is we should initiate more. We should spread more this kind of ideals to the wider society. We mentioned earlier that there is a lot of bad social media out there that are teaching
yes.
our children. So we should put more good content through social media so that actually children can get more of the other viewpoint than the one that creates us problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much indeed. And Pastor Victor, it's your turn now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. You have already spoken everything, whatever we need, even with the 5 questions. Majority of what we have said it before, and we are concluding it. Like my brother Bruno said, everything has to, whether we believe it or not, it's come from God. It's God that has brought us here for a reason. And that reason, we have to let him know the purpose. And another thing is from the Bible, it says, teach your children the way of the Lord. And when they old, they will not depart from it. I mean to say, whatever father teach their children now is what will bring them to the word. And that is what will make the positive aspect of their life. We are talking of society. Society have a little one to play more than the one inside have to play. And you will get to know that even our leaders, the teachers, the president, they call them fathers of the nation. They too, they have a very impact because of the law that guides the family. They owe the family to in the jurisprudence of what they want them to be. It is what the law of father, father, you cannot beat your children, this. Those are the things. You cannot even discipline them, especially in Europe, which doesn't happen in Africa. You know what I'm saying? You have to train your children. And Bible said that if your children are misbehaving, it is the rod that will bring them. But that is not happening in here. And that is why we see that there are some kind of misbehaving children out there. The society. You have done it. Communication is the most important thing here. Communication with God for prayer is communication. Pray for your children. If you don't pray for them, they will misbehave. Not many people will behave in prayer, but prayer is very, very important. If you start praying for your children, you don't know what spirituality, what this aspect of it will happen to them. And another thing, train them the way to go so that when you yourself are old, they will not put you in jail. That's number 2. And number 3, discipline them. I'm not saying that you should be brutal with them. You can discipline them with communication. You can discipline them, sit them down and say, this is wrong. And we don't accept that in this house. That's another thing. Negative attitude, remove from them. Let them be positive. May God help us. And what my take home there is that this kind of topic is very important for all the men, not just men, the women. When they hear this too, they say, oh, this is what my husband's supposed to be doing. And we pray for his husband, say, please, let us think. They say 2. When the 2 think, then it will bring multitude of things, so that family of this world, we can come back, because family of this world, we are impassible now. We are degenerating. So we need to do something about it. And I believe with this one, we can still go ahead and make the word truthful for everyone. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Pastor. Yes, we all have to go back to the basics of love. I always talk about love, and God is love. But there's also another thing regarding fatherhood from the Bible as well, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament is an angry God. In the New Testament is a loving God. So I think I've seen the rod shown by many people who are in the religious families, actually, because they became uh, the children became nasty because they were rather confused. And I think this is where we have to have the
Okay, what happened there? Paul, just go ahead and do the closing remark. I think we lost Logan there.
No problem.
He's
Thank
back.
you very much. So my take home is just going to be
And
one
then you do the
sentence.
closing remark. Yeah.
It's going to be one sentence, and it's reduced parental engagement is equal to increased family conflicts. So as a parent, if I don't care, I don't want to be engaged in child upbringing, I should expect more family conflicts in the future.
Thank you.
So I think we draw the curtain at this point. And next week will be another opportunity to, or not, some other time, as the chairman and the secretariats so desire, it will be another time for us to talk about some other important societal issues that affect all of us. So I hand
Thank
that
you.
over
Yeah,
to the
then.
chairman.
Thank
Sister
Yeah,
you
Rose.
very much, Paul. That was very, everything today was very good. And remember that we also have emotions. And like what, it was mentioned about mental health and the balance and all the different things. I think, I don't think it's not much about thinking. I know it's a fact that we should have more dialogue. We don't have enough dialogue sessions, and we are all leaders in our own fields, especially with the migrant communities we are. I think that sometimes when we say about what do you take home with it, we give all the ideas and the how knowledgeable we are, how much we have learned. But the minute we exit this type of talks, forums, we don't take it back home, do we? On many occasions, because a different issue going on at home is a different platform. So how do we gel? We need the synergy. We need the energy to be able to reflect on things like what we are talking about today. I know Joe. We have worked together quite a lot, and I would be able to more easier to reflect on that, and also with Susan, and also to a certain degree with Bruno, because I do understand the background and all the different things we do. And Paul is a new colleague, and the pastor, of course. Now the pastor comes on the spiritual level, which we all need. We need our take out time with prayer. So what people don't understand, to my personal view, is they think that prayer it means you got to kneel down and this and that. No, as we go along every day in all the different things that we do, when we are walking, I believe that it's all a prayer all the time when we are talking and communicating with people. And I think the essence of this thing today, the take home is, to me, to spread the love. Once we have that on our agenda, when we have love in our hearts, mind, body, and spirit, and the soul, this is what we should really take home today. I'm not a father. I do not have any children. My experience about fatherhood is with everybody else like today. So the different views we have, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to bring one extra colleague, like Susan always emphasizes. If we can bring one other person, what can we? I've learned a bit more today. Well, or a lot more, doesn't matter. Because how do I deal with different people that we meet along in our journeys in life, in especially the voluntary sector? One man's food is another man's poison, but forewarned is forearmed. How are we going to deal with that person who's so aggressive to us and dictating policies, and yet he'll be such a loving person in the home? So there's also this conflict that we have. And when I say about FCP, focus, commit, and participate, with the commitment comes communication, conflicts, cooperation, collaboration. So what do we learn from it, and what do we take home? A couple of weeks ago, I was with a T-shirt. We were talking about certain things and about launch of this book regarding Sean Lamas and all that. And I said to him certain things when before he left. I said, there's one thing about you, T-shirt. I said, you are willing to give time for people. If once you're willing to listen, when you give time, you're listening, because you're learning from the individual, from the past, present, and for the future. Today he is at loggerheads today as a leader. He's also a father. Now he's like the father of this land today. How is he going to lead us with this conflict? So many hundreds of fathers out there today being arrested or whatever, but there are reasons for that. So how do we deal? A father who's going out there arresting somebody, a father who's going out there cautioning other people, a father who goes back and beats a child. Now, a child, you can hit with the ruler. I know many people who don't hit with the cane, but they give a tap with the ruler saying, look, this is not hurtful, like what Joe said earlier on. So we must take home the most important thing is the love, the passion that we have, and the empathy, like somebody mentioned earlier on. And I also feel, Bruno, this is the first time you come into our dialogue with us. I've done a lot. Hopefully, Joe is also the co-founder of the immigrants. So we are kickstarting a new project in this life today, in our journey today. And our journey, Susan, you already with us 7 years ago, when we already started the immigrants. There's a reason why we call it the immigrants. Somebody challenged me about it, and I gave the reasons why. We have to reactivate our Facebook page because that's been hijacked. Because we have certain standards to comply with, and we take home the standards today to the whatever we preach today, whatever you said today, if we can take it back to our homes, I think that'd be a wonderful thing that we have accomplished today. And please
Yeah.
God, we'll all be the same people, same communities, and we have to try to encourage as many people to have this dialogue session, and so that we spread the love. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah,
God bless.
thank you so much. It's just to give a very vote of thanks to each one of you. Each one of you are special, and I do really appreciate your time. Thank you, Logan, for facilitating and accepting to be the committee chairman for this time with wise men. We started this, I think, 2016. That's when we
Yeah.
started this initiative,
Mm.
bringing men together, having conversation. We've had a break for a while, but we're back in full force now. So the next topic for next month, we'll pick a date and we will let everybody knows the date. It's mental wellness and resilience. Mental wellness and resilience. It's a net of, I know, when we are talking about that, I'm sure we're still going to go into some of the things we've talked about before. We've talked about identity. We've talked about emotional intelligence. We talk about leadership. We spoke about father and fatherhood. And the next conversation will be on mental wellness and resilience. So thank you all for joining. And I'm looking forward to the next conversation. We will let you know what the date is going to be. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. We'll
you.
keep in touch, and thank you, Bruno, and